Hello and welcome to Investing Confidential. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. Tomorrow we begin the trading week, and I want to talk a little about the fake data, the false data that is just causing everyone to lose money. And I'm going to give you some examples. As we go into 2023, you've really got to stop paying attention to the data in terms of making rash investment decisions because it is going to whipsaw you, and it has whipsawed a lot of people. So let's just jump right into it. The problem with data, when I say the data, I'm talking about CPI, I'm talking about GDP, I'm talking about housing numbers, I'm talking about consumer confidence, all of these numbers that affects and usually come out in the 8:30 previous in the openings or around 10 a.m. All these numbers have big effects on the market, right? The markets move on these numbers, and the numbers are false. The numbers are not that they're fake, but they're just not good. We're getting it like China. I mean, China historically, no one believes the data coming out of China because it is manipulated. You have to utilize it, you have to analyze it, but most professionals know that the data coming out of China is just made up. The trend is what's really important. And US and Europe has been known to have historically very good data, but there's a major problem, and that problem is the way we gather the data. I mean, we have the technology that's available to us is phenomenal. The amount of data that's available to us is incredible, especially in any type of social platforms, etc. And here we have the government that puts out this data that it's important for investors, and it's antiquated. The way they gather the data is antiquated. I mean, they're still using landlines. I mean, it's laughable. People are calling people on landlines. Who has a landline out there? Nobody uses them. No one answers the phone because they're just full of salespeople and scams. And yet this is how the government agency, excuse me, that the government pays to gather the data, they still call people on landlines. And the other problem is they use small base cases. I mean, you got 300 plus million people in this country. It's a diverse economy, diverse amount of people, and they speak to a couple thousand people, 1,000 people, and that determines, what the data is. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, you've got a serious wealth gap in this country. And how do you determine consumer confidence numbers? All of these numbers about the consumer when you're again still gathering data the old ways. I mean, it's absolutely it's incredible. They send out mail surveys. I mean, mail surveys, for God's sakes. I mean, this is ridiculous. When they talk about small businesses and employment, all this, they use a couple thousand there's 5 million small businesses out there, and the government agency is using a couple thousand people. I mean, it's just the data is flawed, folks. And the only thing you can do is listen to people like myself, or do your own homework, because the data is out there. Okay, all the agencies publish their data, and you could see the hypocrisy. You could see how the data just doesn't show, and the market's reflective. The markets move one way, and then they reverse right away when people realize that the data is flawed. And it's creating a lot of volatility, and it's going to continue to create this volatility because we are data dependent. Okay, let me give an example of what I'm talking about. This is egregious. First, I'm showing you here the Philly Fed. Now, Philly Fed historically has been a number that people look at for employment, for other things. But look at this that just came out, recently. The job numbers that the government uses, okay, to spout there how good they're doing, job creation. Okay, in aggregate, this is what it says. In aggregate, 10,500 new jobs were added during the period, rather than the 1.1 million jobs estimated by the sum of the states. I mean, this is egregious. This is egregious. The government, the United States government, came out, the Biden administration came out waving flags, saying, "Hey, we created 1 million jobs." No, they created 10,000 jobs. This is why I'm telling you these unemployment numbers and these employment numbers, they are fake. Okay, we're seeing it right here. The government's admitting that the numbers are fake. Okay, I'm not telling this; it's the government telling you this. Okay, let me give you some more examples. I mean, this is incredible, and we talk about consumer confidence, which is really what's driving this economy. Okay, the government consumer confidence numbers came out recently, and the government's, hey, this is great. The consumer's back. It's better than expected. Blah blah. No, no, no. This is what really matters. Okay, this is University of Michigan. This is not government. They've been doing this for many many years. They talk about consumer confidence. They do. It's much more reliable. Okay, and look at this number. The conference board, which is again the government agency that puts out this conference numbers, is telling you that consumer confidence is better than expected. But yet, look at the real consumer confidence. It's falling off a cliff, folks. Okay, you can't believe it. I was just reading about, we talked about the scam of the car dealers. I mean, they can't give cars away right now. I mean, used cars have just dropped like a stone. No one wants them. Okay, they created a narrative, a false narrative out there months ago, and now they're suffering for it, and nobody's buying cars. So how could consumer confidence be rising? That makes no sense. Again, the numbers make no sense. They're not reliable. Let's talk about the housing numbers. Okay, here we go. Look, these are existing home sales. They're gone. Okay, but I hear realtors or these government or these people that are involved in the industry putting out there saying, oh, housing prices haven't dropped, there's no supply, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, folks. These again false. Now there is plenty of supply. There's going to be a massive amounts of supply coming on the market as these big institutions who really own all the homes. By the way, don't believe the mortgage narrative is false. I've gone. You could watch a number of my videos in the past. I've told you why that all this real estate is nonsense. All the real estate talk about mortgages. No, it's about big institutions which for 10 years have bought hundreds of thousands of homes sight unseen, and now they're going to be puking them out because interest rates have reversed. But here is the real data. Okay, this is the real data, not the garbage that the CNBC puts out there. So, again, here's one last thing, talking about the CPI, and they're saying, oh, inflation's come down. Yes, inflation has come down. I said that way before the government said it. But look at these numbers onto the right hand side. You've got food. Okay, food at home, food takeaway over double digits. Okay, double digit inflation, energy double digits, 13%, gasoline 12%. These numbers, energy services, this is to heat your home, going up 60%. I mean, this is not what the government's. This is not 8%. So the real inflation rates were significantly higher than what they're telling you, and they are coming off, but it's going to be sticky. It's no wonder that when you look at the confidence of the economy for 2023, that most Americans are very pessimistic, and they should be. But yet, you talk about these strategists, these Wall Street guys out there, or these talking heads on these shows saying, "Oh, it's not going to be that bad." That everyone's calling for this and that. The bottom line is, you guys watching this, what's going on. You know that the economy is not good, and if anyone tells you that the economy is good, they're lying to you. Okay, and at the end of the day, how it affects stock markets. I mean, here we are. This is a look at the month of December, going back to the 30s. Okay, we've had one of the worst December months on recorded history. The it's going to be end up to be the top four, the third worst. Okay, and this is going to have implications for 2023. I'm going to put some videos out in the next couple of days to show you where I think the markets are going to go. But you've had a really pessimistic and a really, really tough time in December, despite what these numbers are telling you. So again, the bottom line here is don't believe the numbers. Do your own homework. Find people like myself or others who are more reliable and giving you what the real skinny is. And as we open up a new week, the final week of the trading session for 2022, investors, be careful out there.